All right, welcome. So, if you're a contractor here in the UK, or maybe you hire contractors, there's this one thing that can really catch you out: IR35. And it can lead to a nasty surprise tax bill. So, today we're going to break down how to handle HMRC's official checker tool.
Now, this discussion has been put together by the fantastic team at Pro Tax Accountant, and these guys really know their stuff. They've been navigating these complex tax issues for over 18 years, helping countless contractors just like you.
So, let's just dive right in with a question that, might be keeping some of you up at night. Are you absolutely certain about your tax status? Because let me tell you, getting IR35 wrong can be, well, it can be incredibly costly.
And how costly are we talking? Well, look at this number. According to HMRC's very own data, that's the average overpayment for a contractor who gets their IR35 status wrong. We're not just talking about taking a box for compliance here. This is about your hard-earned money. Okay, so to really get a handle on this risk, we've got to go back to basics. What even is IR35? So in a nutshell, these off-payroll working rules were brought in to figure out one key thing. Are you a genuine, independent business, or, for tax purposes, do you look more like an employee? It's really just HMRC's way of making sure everyone's paying their fair share of tax. Right, so to help everyone figure this puzzle out, HMRC went ahead and created an official tool. It's called the Check Employment Status for Tax, or as everyone calls it, CEST. You should really think of this as your first port of call. It's free, it's anonymous, and it gives you HMRC's official take on your situation. And here's the really important bit. HMRC says they will stand by the result if the information you put in is accurate and you've used it correctly. Okay, but, and this is a big but, there's a catch. Look at these numbers. Trust in this tool has seriously tanked. Usage has dropped by a massive 73% since 2021. And maybe even more concerning, 1 out of every 5 checks comes back undetermined, which, leaves you right back at square one. So even with all its flaws, you might still find yourself needing to use it. The question is, how do you use it properly to get a clear result, one you can actually count on? It really comes down to following these 4 steps very, very carefully. First, get all your documents in order. Know your contract inside and out. Then, be brutally honest when you answer the questions about things like control, substitution, and financial risk. And the last step is absolutely critical. Always, always save and print your result. That PDF is your status determination statement, your SDS, and it is your proof. Okay, so you've got your result. Now you need to understand what it actually means for your wallet. And believe me, the 2 possible outcomes are worlds apart. If you're inside IR35, you're essentially treated like an employee for tax purposes, taxed at the source. But if you're outside, you get to operate like a proper business. You handle your own taxes, yes, but you can also claim a much wider range of business expenses, which can make a huge difference to your take-home pay. Now, you might look at these tax bands and think, wow, the rates look the same. But here's the key thing to understand. The real difference isn't the headline income tax rate. It's all about how your national insurance gets paid and, crucially, your ability to deduct all your legitimate business expenses before tax is calculated. And that, right there, is what can make a massive difference to your bottom line. All right, so getting an accurate result often means spotting the potential problems before you even start the check. Let's talk about some of the most common pitfalls I see people fall into. Yeah, before you even open that CEST tool website, take a hard look at your contract and your actual working arrangement. For instance, that substitution clause, that's a classic one. If your contract says you can send a replacement, but in reality, your client would never, ever accept one, well, HMRC will see right through that. It has to be a genuine, real right that you could exercise. And here's a perfect real-world example. Take Sarah from Edinburgh. The CST tool initially told her she was inside because her client dictated her working hours. But by appealing and highlighting her genuine financial risks and her actual right to substitute, the determination was flipped to outside. That's a huge deal, saving her from a much, much higher tax bill. And since we just mentioned Edinburgh, this is super important for our viewers in Scotland. Your income tax system is different. You've got different bands and different rates. So an inside determination can hit your take-home pay even harder with those higher rates of 42 and even 47% kicking in. You absolutely have to factor this in.
This chart really highlights the most common mistakes we see. And the biggest one, by far, at 40%, is unreported side income. Look, HMRC's Connect computer system is incredibly powerful these days. It pulls data from banks, from platforms like Uber and Deliveroo. It cross-references everything. It's just become far too risky not to declare all of your earnings.
So when you add it all up, the tricky questions, the red flags, the risk of an undetermined result, it all points to one thing. While the CEST tool is a decent starting point, for any complex case, you really need a professional pair of eyes to get true clarity. And that really leaves us with the one critical question you should be asking yourself. Are you truly confident that your contract and your day-to-day reality are IR35 proof? Could they stand up to scrutiny from HMRC? If there's any doubt in your mind, the best thing you can do is get some expert advice. The team at Pro Tax Accountant is there to provide that clarity for your specific situation. You can reach them on WhatsApp or give them a call on 07985 689 912 or just drop an email to info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. I really hope this has helped you get a better handle on the whole IR35 landscape.